Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. Out at the range today with heavy metal, and I'm super excited because of what we have in this white box right here. Now, there's not too many bing bangs that you pick up that come in a white box. This is our first trip to the range with it. This is the brand new High Point. That's right, High Point. Over the years, I've done tons of High Point videos. This is the brand new High Point 10mm. And guess what? It's threaded. That's the whole reason I got this baby. Now, we're going to have plenty of close-up shots and B-roll and all that stuff. But just to give you a quick look right there, that thing is big. Real big. We're going to take a first look at it here in this video at the range. And guess what? It's going to be awesome. But threaded barrel, guys. That's the whole reason I got this thing, is because I wanted to do 10mm suppressed with a High Point. I actually, quite honestly, wasn't even planning on picking this up, but I jokingly said, hey, have you seen all those couple of YouTuber dudes with the new 10mm threaded? Pretty cool, huh? And they said, we got one. So I said, throw it on the bill. So anything from High Points all up to crazy stuff. Let's load this thing up and see what it does. I brought out some 40 Smith & Wesson and some 10mm bow lots, and we're gonna see if it'll run both of them. Fresh out of the box, not a speck of dust on it. Let's see what we think about it. First, let me roll in some video of it up close. I'm scratching it up already. See, they've got the grips with the High Point logo on there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. 10mm there on the barrel. Slide cuts on the back and the front. That's the big old rage these days. And the threaded barrel and the rail on the bottom. Check out the sights, the pretty typical yellow front High Point sight. And the double reds there on the back. Extra little High Point logo there on the back of the slide. This side it says High Point. Mansfield, Ohio, JXP 10mm. It's got the little safety switch there and the mag release where you'd expect it to be. But let's go back to the bench and see what happens with it. I got 8 in the mag and 1 in the pipe. I think you're supposed to be able to get more than 8, maybe 9 or 10 in the mag, but that's all I could get in there without really cramming it. Didn't want to dent up the brass or whatever. But the 10mm we're flinging out here today is some of this House of Pain 180 grain stuff. It ought to be awesome through the can once we get it on there. I don't think I said it yet, but my can that'll work with this 10mm, I didn't have the right stinking adapter for these threads, so I got that in the mail. But right here, very first flings, brand new out the box, brand new High Point JXP 10mm with the threaded barrel. Let's just real quick over the shoulder, 10 yards at that red stop sign right there. See how she runs here. 10mm. Hadn't had one of these out in a while. Well, we got what we were aiming at, and I think it reloaded another one. Let's see. Yep. So far, so good. Well, hey, zero problem so far. Let's go ahead and finish this mag up at 20 yards. We got where we at? A silhouette right about there. 20 yards now with the High Point. Everybody hates them, but I've had them for years and I really don't have a problem with them. I actually carried them for years, the 9 and 45. 20 yards here. Sight seemed to be pretty dead on. Unloading those last few kind of quick. Last round hold open. Hey, so far so good, guys. Brand new High Point 10mm. The kicker is going to be the next video when we have this thing out with the can on it. See how quiet it is, see if it runs with that can. That's really, like I said, the entire point of me getting this thing. But, hey, we got to do some more. Next, let's put some 40 in it and just see what happens. Alright, now same thing, I just loaded it up with some of this stuff. Also some House of Pain, but in the 40, now, every single 10mm I've ever had has done 40 just fine, whether it's Rock Island 1911 or Springfield XDM 10mm. It's in the 40s. Now, a bunch of old fuds will tell you, oh, you're not supposed to do that, it'll break things and yada do da, whatever. I'm not recommending you do that. I'm just telling you, it's always worked for me. So let's try some 40s in this high point 10mm. Let's see what happens. Let's just go on and start right out there at the last one. We're at 20 yards here. 10mm with the 40s in there. See what happens. Hadn't missed one yet with this baby. Oh. Didn't cycle. So did that just sit there and load one? It didn't eject it. Make sure that's what happened. No, I think it did cycle, but it just didn't want to at the very end, and then it did. So let's try again. 40s in there. I think this slide is just so heavy that those 40s just almost didn't have enough energy to grab the next one. But see what happens now. Ran them just fine. 40s in the high point 10mm, even with that heavy slide. Why does that matter? Who cares? Well, 40, generally speaking, you can find it more places than you can 10. And I don't know about today, but it used to be, you could get the 40 boot lights a lot cheaper than the 10mm boot lights. Nowadays, everything's just so expensive, but at least we know it works. There you go. But let's load up some more. I almost had a video where I could say I didn't miss anything, but I missed on that very last one at 20 yards. But let's go up there to 50 yards, load up some of that 10, just to have some more fun with this thing while we got it out here. While I'm thinking about it, a lot of people want to know about the size of these high points compared to other stuff. So I carry 1911, these days more often than not. Shout out to Global Defense. This is my Global Defense 1911. Love this thing, carry it just about every day. But there's a full size 1911, and you can see in a lot of ways it's exactly the same size. If I line them up, barrels are lined up with the exception of that thread there, and without the bottom of that magazine there, almost identical. So if you want to know how big it is, well, about the same size as a 1911 there. Alright, now I got those 10mm loaded back up in this baby. Let's go to 50 yards. We're going to do the split screen with the two cameras. That way it makes my editing more harder. You're not supposed to say it like that, are you? But see what we do here. 50 yards. Make sure you can see me now. Well, helps if you load it up, doesn't it? Dadgummit, hold on, be right back. Alright, let's try this again. I put 5 in there. Got it. 2 for 2. I missed that last one trying to go fast. Well, we need some redemption on that. Hold on. I sure was hoping for 5 out of 5. Let's go for 5 out of 6 here. Got it. 5 out of 6 at 50 yards. Hey, that's not too shabby. Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of gentle on it so far. Going slow, really taking my time. Well, I got 10mm in here again. Let's just run it and get that trigger as fast as I can go and just see if it keeps going. And not one-handed. As fast as we could rip it, it ran those 10s and locked back like it was supposed to. Not bad at all. There you have it, guys. Like I said, first trip to the range with that brand new high point. It's got cool stuff on the grips where they've, I guess you'd call it engraven, I have no idea. The high point logo there, it's got that high point logo on the back. It's got the rail on the bottom, and the biggest kicker is it has that threaded barrel. Like I said, I had to get out to the range today. I've got my right direct thread mount in the way, in the mail that is. So stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed, got those notifications on, and following us everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, and all that jazz. Get updates on this thing and a whole lot of other stuff. But hey, ran fine for us today. We had one little hiccup where that very first 40 round it didn't want to feed, but you know what? The rest of them fed just fine. I didn't oil this or anything. Honestly, it looks bone dry out of the box, so I probably should have, but huge forgiving feed ramp on these things. Didn't have any problems. 50 yards slapping steel. Say what you want about the size or the grips or the slide or the pot metal or whatever people want to say about these. 50 yards is not easy slapping steel. I don't care what you got, what you brung, what trigger it's got in it. But the thing is with pistols, and I'm not trying to toot my horn or say I'm a crazy good boulot flinger, because I'm not, by the stretch of any imagination, but goofy old me can come out to the range and hit steel at 50 yards with this thing and with this trigger. It's not as bad as some people might set you up to believe, but man, high point JXP threaded barrel, I love it. I don't poo-poo on high points at all. Like I said, I carried the 9mm for probably 18 months when I first turned 21. I carried the 45 for probably another year after that. As far as running and flinging bullets, it's what they're designed to do. Hey, I've never had problems out of them, and I've had quite a few. We got quite a few videos on them, but hey, I won't ramble on any longer. Proof is in the tape, guys. It ran for us out here, 10mm and the 40. I think it's pretty rad. Stay tuned. We're going to put a shusher machine on there real soon, and it's going to be awesome. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you're subscribed. We will see you on the next one. Hooty-hoo!